everybody, and happy Thursday, and welcome to episode 6 of Makelight Live. I'm so excited to be here on International Women's Day, and I hope that lots of lovely women are going to join me today. Whether you're watching this live or you're watching it later, either on the Facebook page, on the Makelight blog, or on YouTube, then hello and welcome. If you're watching this live and you have any questions, either a question that you're coming with today or a question that comes up from anything that I'm going to talk about, then please pop it in underneath and I will try and answer as many questions as I can at the end. So today is International Women's Day, as I said, and I thought that it would be appropriate to talk to you about some of the things I have learnt and some of the changes I have made through running a business while also being a mum of 4 children. So I have worked for myself for the whole time that I have had children. So when I had my first child, who is now 11, I actually set up my first photography business while I was pregnant with Imogen. So I have been working for myself for the whole time while juggling motherhood. So I thought that it would be good for you to hear some of the things that I have either changed or learnt or made happen, and hopefully it inspires you as well. So the very, very first thing that I had to let go of or change my attitude to was being a perfectionist. So there is no doubt that before I had children, I was a perfectionist, especially in my work, because I had so much more time and I had to let go of being a perfectionist if I wanted to do stuff and have a family, I think, really. I think you should let go of being a perfectionist whether you've got children or not, to be honest. I don't think it's very helpful for anybody. But it was definitely something that I found was so beneficial for me to just go, okay, let's get it done in the very best way that I can with the time that I've got, but let go of it wanting to make sure everything was absolutely perfect all the time. So that was the first thing that I let go, and I certainly also let go of that in terms of being a mum. So pretty much all the things that I'm going to be talking about today relate to both building a business and being a mum. So, you know, there are many, many things that I could want, if I had all the time and all the money in the world, what I would want to do with my children. I can't do everything, and I basically do my best, and we have lots of fun, and I think we have a very happy family. But I let go of things like, the house is often a mess, and laundry is in piles, and all of that. And I don't I try my very best not to beat myself up about any of that. So the perfectionist stuff, I have let go. That's in the past, and it has definitely helped me to build my business and bring up my children. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I learned early on that I need to go at a realistic pace. So I choose to build my business at a pace that fits in with having my family. So for a while, I was designing a new business in a notebook because I had two very little children at the time, and I wanted to wait until all my children were at school before I really kicked in a lot harder. That I've actually reflected on as well, and now my realistic pace has changed again, because I want to have a realistic pace that means that I can pick up my children from school most days of the week, and I can take most of the holidays off with them as well, and I know I've talked about that with you. So having a realistic pace and being okay with that. So basically I have a place of building my business at a pace that fits in with being a mum, and being totally fine with that, not beating myself up about that, not thinking that doesn't make me worthwhile, doesn't make my business worthwhile, having a positive spin on going at a realistic pace. And that has definitely helped me a huge amount. The third thing, super important, whether you are a mum who runs a business or a parent who runs a business or not, whether you are anybody, is self-care. And I had to really learn that was fine. It wasn't me being selfish. It was more than fine. It was super, super important. When I look after myself, my family are happier, my business runs more smoothly, I am happier and healthier in myself. Happy mum makes happy children, and a happy person makes a happy business. So self-care, I really do prioritise that. So I need to exercise, I need enough sleep, I need to eat well, I need to do things that help me to relax, and that is all really, really, really important. And it's something that I mustn't let go, because when I do, then I don't feel very good, and when I don't feel very good, I certainly can't do all the things that I have to do, being a mum of 4 and running my own business. So self-care, super important, not to feel guilty about needing it, and to make sure that it is a priority. And I think actually that fits into the next thing, which is being a role model. So I often find, as I will talk about in a minute, that maybe I have to work more than I want to, or that, you know, at some points in the year the business is going to be, you know, oh my gosh, kids, I've got to do so much more work than I want to. Going to have more childcare, or, you know, I won't be around this weekend because I've got to work and have to have the weekend just with daddy, and that can be really, really frustrating. But although that is frustrating, it's not all the time, and I am being, and I know, a great role model for my children, particularly my girls, I think. I think my boys as well, but I know that for me, for my 2 girls, I am really proud that I am working and building a business, and they see me. They, you know, my eldest knows that I have a big social media following, and I'm a role model, definitely a role model for her and her friends in that area. So I really hold on to that when it gets tough, and when it's hard, and when I'm struggling, and if I'm feeling guilty, then I hold on to the fact that by running my business and being a mum, I am being a great role model to my children. So 2 more things. The 4th, how many have I done? 5. The 5th one is about being organised and making the most of my time when I am not with my children. So when they are at school, I have been learning, as I've spoken about in a past episode, how to get the very most out of my day, and to make the most productive days that I can, and to do things, particularly things like batching. So when I batch all my work together, I get loads of videos done, get loads of podcasts recorded, get loads of articles written, get loads of social media lined up, all the things I have to do. When I batch them, I get so much more done. So really, really getting organised, and then also getting organised at home. So now we do our meal planning, and things like just making sure all the school uniform is ready for the week ahead, and as many kind of things like that I can do. Batching at home as well as batching at work helps everything to run a lot more smoothly. So being as organised as I can, and always looking at ways to improve my organisational skills, both at home and in my business, because then it helps everything to run a lot more smoothly. I still have a way to go with all sorts of things I want to be more organised with, but I'm just ploughing through one thing after another, and getting more organised in all sorts of areas. So for example, another great one is the present drawer, because there's always a child's party coming up, or you know, something's in a rush and I haven't quite remembered that there are 3 parties that weekend. Just making sure that I have enough wrapping paper, that I have cards all organised, that I have sellotape and washi tape, and obviously presents that suit all the age ranges of the children that I have. I know that might sound like a really silly small thing, but those little things really, really do help everything feel a lot less stressful and a lot less frantic and busy. So as much organising as I can, and always looking at ways that I can keep on improving that, and finding little things like, oh yeah, okay, so the meal planning has been an amazing thing. I think we're on week 6 or 7 of meal planning. And it is really simple. I'm not doing any fancy meals, because I haven't got time for that at the moment. I'm just doing simple stuff that I know that we like, And the meal plan just helps me make sure I've got all the food in the freezer or the fridge or the cupboard that we need for that week, and the meal plan is just there and I haven't got to think about it, and I do it, and it takes me about 5 minutes to do the plan for the week, and then it's all done. So little things like that, and definitely the batching in my business stuff has helped me so much this year. And finally, having boundaries. So this is really important for me, and I think if you are running a business and you are a parent, it's really important to have boundaries. So when your business is getting busy, you're at a busy time, which may be a day, it may be a week, it may be a period of months where things are really frantic and busy. You need to have boundaries for how many weekends will you work, or how late at night will you work, or how early will you get up in the morning to squeeze in some work before you take the children to school. And to really think about, okay, I can do that, but I can't do that. And to really set my boundaries so that this really helps me with any guilt. So any guilt of feeling like, oh, I'm with my children and I should be with my work, or oh, I'm with my work and I should be with my children. Those feelings of guilt are such a terrible waste of energy, and such a negative, have such a negative impact on how we feel. So I don't want to have that. I don't want to be feeling like that. So making sure that I have boundaries and thinking, okay, it's okay. I said it was all right if I work one weekend a month. I'm working one weekend a month. I don't really want to be working this weekend, but I am. It's okay because we have 3 other weekends this month and we're going to have loads of fun and I'm going to have loads of time with my children. Or I'm taking the evening off tonight to be with my children, and I know I still have a pile of work that needs to be done, but it can be done tomorrow and we all need to have time off. So really thinking about my boundaries, setting those boundaries and sticking to them and being okay, and not apologising to anybody. If things are a bit late, or apologising, fine. You want to apologise for being late with things, but you don't want to kind of have that like feeling like you're always saying sorry, like you're having guilt that you're feeling, and then that always like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry all the time. Don't do that either. We are all doing our very best, and I think that it is important that we don't always apologise all the time, because we're doing super well, and there are so many amazing women, all of you included, doing amazing things to the best of our ability in the time that we have on the day that it is. So, never try and leave the guilt, try and set boundaries, and don't feel guilty for having set the boundaries either. I think it's really important. And the more of us who do that, and the more of us say, oh, I don't work on Monday evening, so I'll get back to you on Tuesday, and make that statement, I think the more of us go, oh, actually, that's a good idea, isn't it? I don't think I will work on Monday evenings anymore either. And we need to be kind to each other and kind to ourselves. So those are my sort of tips really for how I manage having a business and having 4 children who are all still relatively young. So my 4th child is 4, she's very nearly 5. She will be 5 just after Easter. So they are all at school now, which does make a difference to the time that I have during the day. But they are still little, and they do still very much need me. So yeah, I am a mum of 4 young children. But I can do it. So can you. It's just really important to look after yourself, leave perfectionism, leave guilt, leave apologising all the time, set boundaries, and then really work on how you can get the very best out of each day, so that you can be great with the time that you have, and then have time off with your family. That was, I was going to say one more thing on that point, and it was something I was really thinking about last week, and then someone, I can't remember who it was, but someone posted something really sweet about it on Instagram last night, and I was just like, yes, that is exactly how I feel. So I have really super productive days, but I cannot have 5 super productive days in a week, or I might have 5 super productive days in a week, but I can't necessarily repeat that the next week and the next week and the next week. Some days are going to be a bit slower. They're going to be a bit more pottering aroundy. They're going to be a bit more like, oh, I'm just going to potter a bit and then I'm going to get some ideas, and the ideas will flow on those days. So it's also really important not to panic and think that everything is going to go wrong if sometimes when the kids go to school, you just need to potter around the house, tidy up, have a think, lie on the sofa for a bit, and have a much slower day. So those days are super important for you as well. That's just one thing I wanted to say. I don't want anyone to think that I am, right, get the kids to school. Okay, make 5 videos, 3 podcasts, write 5 blog posts, get all the social media done. Take 20 photographs, right, back to school, pick up the kids. I have some days where I make a mega amount of stuff happen, but I also have slower days. So that's really important to remember as well. I think sometimes when you listen to people like this saying, oh, I can do it all, la la la, then you think, oh, but I was feeling a bit lazy and slow today. That makes me a bad person. It certainly doesn't. So don't forget that. We all need slow days and fast days and big packed days and calmer days. So don't forget that as well. They are all important parts of the juggle. Okay, so I'm now going to share my 3 favourite things of the week, and then I'm going to see if you have any questions for me or any comments on anything that I have talked about today. So my 3 favourite things, the first one is quite funny. You're probably going to think, why is she showing us this? But it's just the prettiest pot ever. So this is Italian glue, and it's just so pretty. It's a pot of glue in the most beautiful, I think you can see that lid there, in the most beautiful tin ever. And I can't wait to do some craft with that and take some pictures because it is so pretty. And that is from an online store called Tea and Kate. In fact, I think Tea and Kate might have a physical shop in Suffolk as well, but it's an online store, Tea and Kate, and I will link up this pretty glue. If you are a stationery addict like me, then you might like some too, but I just thought that was absolutely beautiful and an example of amazing packaging. I am a stationery addict and a packaging freak, I guess. Like, I really love beautiful packaging. I love going into supermarkets when I am abroad just to look at the packaging of all the food and stuff, so I really like packaging. But the next is this beautiful, I'm using it as a pencil case. You could use it as a makeup bag or just a little pouch for things, and this is made by O Squirrel, and I got one for my daughter Imogen for Christmas, and Katie was very sweet and popped one in for me, and we both have them with our calligraphy pens in, and we are doing lots of calligraphy together at the moment, and I just wanted to get it out and show you because it's been really making me smile this week. We have also been making, this pom-pom came on the lovely pouch, but we have also been making lots of pom-poms together as well, so it's just been making me smile, and so I wanted to get it out and share that. O Squirrel has got loads of lovely things especially for hen do's and weddings, but also stationery stuff, amazing cards, prints, all sorts of loveliness. So I'll put the link to O Squirrel. Check out Katie's lovely store. And the next will make you smile. If you were watching, I think it was last week that this book was recommended, or maybe possibly the week before, I can't quite remember, sorry, but I will link up the lovely, I think it was Helen. I made a note of who recommended it to me, but I ordered this book pretty much as soon as I finished the live show, and it arrived, and I've been reading it and getting really excited about properly getting stuck into bullet journaling. So if you are a fan of journals and diaries and lists of notes, bullet journaling is amazing, and I've been wanting to really get into it for ages. And this book is it's really easy to read. It's got loads of helpful tips, layouts, good options for notebooks to do it in, all of that. So I am super excited about this. So thank you for recommending it. So there we go. There are my 3 favourite things that have been making me smile this week. And now I'm just going to open up, I can see a question, so I'm going to open up the questions on my laptop so that I can see them more easily. And if you have a question, then quickly type it, because we have about 10 minutes left, so I can answer questions that you might have. So I'm just getting it up. Sorry, it always takes a minute. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. Lots of hellos, which is really nice. Lovely to see lots of people. Sally ordered the book as well, which is really cool. Enjoy it, Sally, when you get it. Oh, amazing. Rachel got hers as well. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, this is such a good question. So Philippa has asked, what do you suggest for the hanging around times, such as waiting for children at clubs, etc.? I feel I waste loads of time doing this, but still want to do the club runs. Thank you. Okay, so up until really recently, I used to take my eldest daughter swimming on the other side of London. So that might have sounded kind of crazy, but she had an opportunity to swim in this amazing swimming club with amazing trainers, and they were all international swimmers. They'd swim in the Olympics, Commonwealth Games, stuff like that. It was amazing, incredible, but it was a big trek across London, and then the swim class, and then all the trek on the way back. So what I used to do for that, she used to swim for about half an hour, 45 minutes. So I always took something with me to do. Now, sometimes if I just needed to read a magazine, or I needed to read a book, a fictional book, then I took that and I allowed myself to have that time off. But other times I took a task that I knew would fit into that amount of time. So it could be things like editing photos on my phone, or that was always a good one, I found, or filing stuff on my phone if I needed to file photos or get things organised for social media for the week after. Sometimes I would take a notebook and do content planning. It would always be a task that I knew would fit into half an hour, so that I would feel like I had really achieved something during that time. So I know what you mean. Often when I'm waiting at clubs, when my other children have been swimming, I'm juggling other children, so I don't get that nice time to just sit down and do something. But anything while I'm waiting, so we have another one at the moment. My son does a club on a Monday, and my eldest is also at a club on a Monday. She's independent with that one, but I have to wait with my 2 little ones for about 45 minutes after school. There's not enough time for us to do very much, so the little ones have an activity to do, and I again bring an activity that will fit into that time. It helps me to feel a lot better about the whole situation of waiting, and yeah, I think finding tasks, often if I can do them on my phone, or if I have a notebook and a pen with me, or if it's a book that I'm reading, either for work or for pleasure, because you do need to have that time off. So that's what I'd recommend, just kind of thinking of tasks, and while you're doing tasks, in your day, think, actually, I could do that one while I wait for the swim class, or I could do that one, while I'm waiting for the football team to do their thing, whatever. So I think finding the tasks that work for you, that you can transport them easily, and they are manageable in that time. Or emails. Always a pain in the neck, but always need replying to. So that would be another one. Half an hour bashing through some emails can also be a great use of time. So if I'm ever stuck, waiting for school, or just those kind of waiting times, then I often bash through some emails. So it's those kind of tasks that I usually do. Always make sure I have a phone battery pack with me, because that can be really annoying when you've thought, okay, I'll get that task done while I'm waiting, and then your phone is on 10% and then you don't have a chance to do anything. So if you don't have a battery pack for your phone, I recommend getting one of those, always having that charged in your bag, and then whenever you get a moment, you can do that kind of task. So I hope that is helpful. So I'm just going to... Oh, that's really sweet. So Libby one of the Makelight members, Libby, is over from the States, and we are having a Makelight gathering tomorrow in London, which Libby is coming to, and she's just got excited because she is here and she's in our time zone and she is tuning in. So hello, Libby. I'm really looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. That's really sweet. Yeah, brilliant. So that's helpful, Philippa. I'm glad that's been helpful. Yeah, always have a notebook and pen in your bag, and then it's ready for any kind of, situation where you're waiting. You can do some brainstorming, some content planning, some list making, always good. So yeah. Sally has said that's why she loves Makelight so much. I think it was because of the recommendation and then me getting the book. I think that was in response to that, Sally. But yeah, me too. I love it so much too. Okay, I don't think anyone else has any questions. I'm just scrolling up and down. But something exciting this afternoon, I am recording the 3rd episode of the Makelight podcast, Makefulness, which we did a couple of episodes last year, and now I'm finally ready to make it into a weekly thing. So every Sunday from this Sunday onwards, there will be a Makelight podcast episode for you, and I am interviewing someone very special today, very appropriate for both International Women's Day and Mother's Day on Sunday. So I won't spoil it by telling you who it is, but I am really looking forward to introducing her to all of you on Sunday's podcast. So look out for that on Sunday. And I just want to say thank you again for joining me. I'm really loving doing this regular slot every Thursday. I have lots of topics planned, but if you ever have something you would like me to talk about, then please just drop me an email, because I would love to hear your ideas, or even just leave a comment under this, because I will see that as well. And if you ever miss an episode, then you can catch up on the Makelight blog, on here, or on the YouTube channel. So I put it everywhere, so you can always catch up with it again. So thank you again for joining me, and I will see you here next week at 12 o'clock, and I wish you a wonderful International Women's Day. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.